Om Shanti. This is Murli Notes of 2nd February 2022. The Grahachari or shadow of Maya, that is omens and influences. So you see the force of evil versus the force of God. There are subtle energies that act on the mind. Either your mental orientation goes towards God, or you forget God. The phenomenon of the influence of God and the influence of negativity on the human mind needs to be identified and articulated. The job of the yogi is to destroy the influence of Maya, and then only God will return to the world of nirvana, and then human civilization can function in harmony for a long period of time. The drama of the conflict between the force of evil and the force of God plays out once these two forces reach their extreme degrees. Crisis is a prerequisite for one or the other to prevail. The third energy of destiny is also a force to be reckoned with. And the fourth energy is the power of faith. So consider the swastika as something that symbolizes the rotation of varying dominance of these four energies: faith, God, evil, and destiny. Do you believe the Gyan or not? Can you judge it for yourself or not? Belief is also based on whether or not you are in relationship with Brahma Baba and Mama, Jagat Amba Saraswati. Assess the level and intensity of your faith in yourself, in God, in Dharma, and in the BK family. The return to truth is indicated by extreme crisis. Crisis can just as easily favor God as it can favor evil. A crisis tends to push the majority one side or the other. Ask yourself, to what extent are you susceptible to oratory? The word of God or the word of human orators or messages? Can you discern the influence of truth versus fake information? Your power to discern depends on having a good connection with truth. God is the source of truth or true information. Ultimately, there is a return to truth in circumstances of extreme distress. Religion is a repository for important sentences or beliefs, symbols, songs, etc., and enables elements that point to truth to be preserved. Simple people with blind religious faith are considered non-threatening by political authorities. Through these, the mind can remain oriented towards God, irrespective of propaganda. The mind naturally goes to where you receive something that fulfills your desires, your needs, etc. Devotees are attracted to ancient temples, and the oldest of all are the temples to Shiva. The names of the ancient temples define the activity of God. The form of Shiva, either as a point of light or as the oval form, is non-human and therefore non-threatening to political authorities. The Avatar. The Messiah is anticipated in time of crisis by all religions. Avatar refers to the incarnation of the bodiless one. There is also Shakti Avatar, that is the Shiv Shakti or woman who can hold the power of God. And here the word woman includes a man who has surrendered to God. And by comparison, the word man refers to one who claims to be God. A man who has surrendered to God will not oppress women. The patriarchy is a system which puts the male in the position of God and demands that women surrender to him. Such a man can easily surrender to a more powerful man, but is also in competition with other men. There is a deep desire for dominance. A patriarchal woman is one who promotes patriarchy in exchange for a small amount of power over other women. The form of Shiva is genderless. However, patriarchal men have declared that the Shivalingam form represents the phallus. Therefore, they deny women access to Shiva, access to God. They seek to prevent women from acquiring spiritual power, which would render women more potent than themselves. Thus, their focus of attention is to prevent women from remaining pure, celibate, and inviolate. The Avatar, the incarnation of God, is the highest phenomenon. He is the Father of all, the giver of happiness, that is, prosperity, and is the purifier of the impure. The origin of impurity is man-made religion, because man-made religion separates humans into males and females, and such religions do not allow the concept of genderless, immortal souls. All souls begin to decline from the moment they arrive on earth. From the beginning of the Golden Age until the end of the cycle of time, all souls and all manifestations of matter are in a continuous state of decline, which accelerates as time progresses. Current time is a tailspin of decline characterized by polarization, imbalance, and disharmony. Everything must reach a state of complete chaos. All souls reincarnate. Brahma is a human being. Vishnu is the symbol of Lakshmi and Narayan combined, so it is a symbol of androgyny. This is also a symbol of humanity when in its perfect state. Vishnu cannot be called an avatar or incarnation of God as is believed by conventional Hindus. Only one avatar is possible, not 10 and not 24 as believed in Hinduism. The avatar is for the purpose of God to give the inheritance of knowledge to his children. This occurs only once per time cycle. All time cycles are identical, therefore only one avatar is possible and only one is needed. God incarnates only once per cycle. The inheritance of knowledge is needed only at the end of the cycle when the material world and all souls are at the maximum level of impurity. God is not a human, but God incarnates into the body of the human Brahma. Brahma's body is the vehicle for God, enabling God to speak. All humans are classified as the creation of incorporeal God. The concept that God is nameless and formless and omnipresent gave rise to the idea that all men should consider themselves to be God. Yet, they all remember incorporeal God. They do not remember Brahma, Vishnu, or Shankar, and none of them are considered to be the Father. The Father is called the Creator. At the time of the avatar of God, all human beings are at the maximum level of impurity, and this implies that their processes of intelligence are dysfunctional and they cannot evaluate or conceptualize ideas adequately. This produces faulty logic. The confluence between Kali Yuga, the Iron Age, and Satyuga, the Golden Age, is the time when God acts. He is known to be the liberator. It is said that God establishes the pure world through Brahma and destroys through Shankar. He takes his avatar in Bharat, where the night of Shiva is celebrated. Yet, they do not know the name, form, place, and time of the avatar. Therefore, they call God omnipresent. This is the definition of dharma galani, which means the defamation of dharma. Due to this concept, the people of India have become impure and corrupt, and only when this occurs does God take his avatar. These shlokas are the most famous lines from the Gita, which translated say, "Wherever there is adharma, I appear, and I destroy adharma and establish true dharma. I come at the confluence of ages." So Baba takes up this phrase and explains the implications in detail. Baba says it is not possible at this time for there to be any pure soul or punya atma in Bharat. The end means the end of the entire creation and the beginning of the new creation. BKs recognize God number-wise, that means variably. Maya confronts Baba's children and continuously forces them to lose mental contact with God. You say you are the children of Baba, Brahma Baba, and the grandchildren of Shiv Baba, and at the same time you forget. Before coming into Gyan, this is not possible. Recognition, followed by total forgetfulness, is an extraordinary phenomenon. The people of Bharat know that God is the creator of heaven and Maya, Ravan, is the destroyer. Maya, Ravan combined would be a combination of illusion and materialism. Remembrance would thus be related to disillusionment combined with vairagya. There's a disinterest or recognition that all of these material attractions are not what they promise to be. Under the shadow of Maya, the children of Brahma can neither recognize God nor Ravan. In that case, there is an argument for suggesting that among the children of Brahma, some get their third eyes closed and revert to being the blind children of the blind, which corresponds to the Kauravas. The Kauravas and Pandavas are brothers. They're children of the same grandfather, and they are cousins. The majority of Kauravas and the minority are Pandavas. Both have access to God. The Kauravas want the powers of God, and the Pandavas want God. The Pandavas, according to legend, get exiled by the Kauravas and spend their last year in hiding. People tend to follow their leaders. All have an intellect of tuch. So there are at least 72 different meanings of this word tuch, which include shallow, degraded, frivolous, inferior, shoddy. People whose third eye closes have such an intellect. This can be the Kaurava type of BK. They act as if they do not know the philosophy of karma. They have not fully crossed from bhakti to Gyan. And Baba often says, very few BKs know me as I am and what I am. Baba says, none of the founders of religion are incarnations of God or avatar. Hindu devotees worship the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, but they do not know when he came or what he did. They know nothing of the Creator or the beginning, middle, and end of the creation. They do not know the biographies of the deities, and due to this, they are suffering hardship. Baba does not explain to Hindus, but to his own children, and yet the majority do not understand the subtleties of what he is saying. While being in front of Baba and listening to him, yet simultaneously they forget. This is a phenomenon. This could not happen in the time before Gyan. And this is why there is also the phenomenon that there are those who are amazed and they hear and tell others about Baba and the knowledge, and then they run away. They belong to the Father, study with the teacher, accept to practice purity under the direction of the Satguru, then they forget all three. If you forget one, you forget all. If you remember one, you remember all three, and that too accurately. I am your father, and I will take you to my Paramdham. I am your teacher, and will definitely make you into the King of Kings. I am your Satguru, and number-wise, according to your Purusharat, your spiritual efforts, I will take you back. This is a guarantee. Yet, as they move forward, they forget such a father. This is the Grahachari of Maya, the shadow, the eclipse. Today there is faith and then doubt. This is destined, fixed in the drama. Destruction is fixed. At that time, with whom will you take refuge? All will ultimately come and bow to him. In the midst of the tumult of destruction, they will hear that they should remember God and that it is time to return to the home. But it will be too late to do any practice or study. The Father takes the body of Brahma on loan to give the knowledge and to teach yoga. You children know this, yet forget this. This is due to body consciousness, pride of the body. You disregard God. You do not follow Shrimat all the time. You give weight sometimes to one side and sometimes to the opposite side of the balance. These variations determine the hierarchy of the kingdom. There are variations in your percentage of faith. Such variations do not occur in the time before Gyan. Maya brings on doubt and you fall. There are oscillations of faith. The darkness of the shadow of Maya prevents you from seeing clearly. Everything takes place identically to the previous kalpa. Each one takes up the knowledge number-wise according to their purusharat, identically as they did in the previous kalpa. Each one takes the same amount of the inheritance as they did in the previous kalpa. Each one performs the same act. The coming and going of the shadow of Maya prevents the rosary of Brahmins from being identified. The shadow causes Brahmins to break and become one of the subjects. To understand the variations and the difference between the rosary of spirits and the rosaries of people, you need a very clean and broad intellect. Loyalty and following the instructions of Baba are signs of those who give attention to Shrimat. God creates the pure world, which then degenerates. So he must come again to recreate it. He plays an extraordinary role at this time. He is not recognized here and now, but will be later on the path of bhakti. Om Shanti.